Hey, Sherry. Hey, John. Hey, Auntie 601711811. Welcome. Oh my gosh, you're going to start me off with that right away? I was not going to talk about universal. That was not going to be my topic. But hey, if you want to know, there's a really, really funny joke about universal basic income. So I don't know what to think because I heard this and it blew my mind. Okay. Oh God, this is so funny. I was not going to talk about this. Okay. So the funniest thing I heard about universal basic income is, so imagine the people that you work with. Imagine the worst people that you work with, the lowest 10%, the worst performers. Would it be better for your company, your institution, if they literally just did not show up? Like, are they every day like making problems for people, every day getting in people's way? Like, is there a percentage of population of people, maybe like 10% of the population, that is literally just better off not going to work? That is an argument that's the best argument I've ever heard for universal basic income, is that there's literally a population of people that you don't want going to work because they will like literally like destroy or ruin the company's productivity because their job still needs to be done. Right, but usually what happens is there's really, really lazy, there's usually some really, really lazy people, and then their slack gets picked up by the higher performers. So it's like, in reality, what really happens is other people end up doing those jobs. So I'm not in favor of universal basic income. But the best argument that I ever heard for it was that if we just literally paid people, the worst people, to not show up at work, maybe life would be better. It's just kind of humorous. So I don't really know what to think about universal basic income. I would say no. I don't think it's a good idea. But their laziness shouldn't be encouraged. I agree. I agree 100%. But this is a funny argument for it. Okay, this was not what I was going to talk about today. So I'm not prepared to talk about that right now. But that's just a funny joke. It's funny that you brought that up. Okay, so I am John Beckmann. Oh, wait, question? No. Okay, question 2. What's question 2? What's question 2? Hurry, because I gotta go. I can't break the flow. Well, we might as well, while I'm waiting for this question, we might as well do a citation to the simultaneous sip. Everybody get a coffee, get some Diet Coke, get something that you like to drink. Drink it with me. Something I'd rather do than drink coffee with you. Here it is. How would affect us if we make first contact? Ooh, aliens. How would it affect us? Assuming, so I'm not a person who believes that aliens come here and visit people. I am not like an Area 51, like aliens going to probe you in the butt like that. That's not happening. But there is because the universe is so big and so expansive, it's just inherently 100% probable that there's another planet out there that has life. Okay? So it's likely that there are other living things out there in the universe. And you're asking, what would happen? What would be the effects if we first made contact? So if we first made contact, it would be the scenario where they are many, many, many light years away and they've just been shooting signals, and all of a sudden we find this signal, okay? And then we start receiving it. And so here's what's going to happen is what that signal, it's not going to be a communication, because you cannot communicate with people that are millions and millions of light years away, because then we'd send a message and it wouldn't get there for a million light years, okay? So it's not going to be a back and forth conversation. I don't know what OFC means. It's not going to be a back and forth conversation. But what would likely happen is I would suspect that if there was an intelligent beings that were smart enough to be able to send their communications across the universe, okay, then they would likely be sending tips and tricks of how to survive, how to not blow yourself up with nuclear weapons, how to get past the initial humps that normally make intelligent beings go extinct. That's what I would suspect would be the first signals, was like, here's how you get to the point where you can be like us, is probably what the first signals would be. So I would suspect if we've ever received a signal, it would drastically help us, and it would be kind of like a teaching or training experience. But this is like now we're talking about like crazy shit. Any other questions before we go into what I really want to talk about? You can do another simultaneous sip. Get your coffee, get your drink, get your Diet Coke. This is a good conversation so far. Okay, I'm going to go into what I was originally planning. The whole point of this was that, so first off, let me just, oh my gosh, you're asking me stuff that if I talk about that, that's going to be really controversial where I live. I'm trying to win. I am not trying to lose. So I'm gonna dodge that. I'm gonna be a real politician today and dodge that. I'm not gonna answer that question right now. Okay, I'm gonna start talking about my stuff. So first, let me just pitch my video. I made an awesome new video. I'm picking you for the team. I pinned that at the top of my Twitter. You have to watch that video, and if you like it, you got to tweet it. It's an awesome movie. It's the best movie I've made yet. It's so fun. Okay, I made it when I was walking home. You got to see it. Okay, after that now, so what I really want to talk about today is humans are capable of vast creativity, and there is always a creative solution. That's kind of formulating into what I think my real message is as I run for Senate office in Alabama, is that there's always a creative solution, and if you don't see it, it's just because you're not thinking outside the box. There's always a way to get what you want through creativity, okay? So, and this is what I do every day. This is my job. My job is trying to figure out how to get results in the lab. I'm a scientist. How to get results in the lab. And the only way you do that, you can't go to somebody who knows more than you and say, well, how do I do this? Because what I work on, nobody's ever done before. As a scientist, you're trying to break past what humans know. You're trying to get beyond that. You're trying to make something new. So you always have to figure out a creative solution to the problem. That's what I do. That's my motto, is that there's always a creative solution. Okay, so let me give you two examples of this that I was thinking about. So one of the biggest problems with our Earth, our society today is a lot of people mentally think, I think this is a trap, but a lot of people mentally think that there is a problem of limited resources, okay? So for instance, there isn't enough money, and this is inherently the argument of conservatism, that there isn't enough money to give everybody free healthcare. And if you do that, if you did do that, like the quality of everybody's healthcare is going to go down. It's just not enough money. It's a resource problem. But here's where I come in, is that there's always a creative way. There's always a creative solution to resource limiting problems. Okay, so let me give you one example. So I have some kids, and two of my kids had issues talking, okay? They needed speech therapy. And it is a huge pain in the ass to have to register your kids for early speech therapy. You got to bring like birth certificate, blah, 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 all these documents. You give them to the people, and then every day you got to shuffle your kids forth and back to the speech therapy thing. So, and it's expensive. Okay, they got to pay people at the school with high educations to do this speech therapy. So let me give you a creative solution to how you solve this problem if there's just not enough resources to give every child that needs it speech therapy. It's difficult. Here's a creative solution. Why don't speech therapists start doing speech therapy sessions over Skype? So if right now the way that it's set up is they need this whole infrastructure of the school, okay, and then you got to bring the kids there, you got to meet with them. They need that whole infrastructure. They don't need that anymore, okay? All speech therapists needs to do nowadays, if they're real good, they go online and they say, hey, look, if your kid needs speech therapy, you sign up with me. Here's my rates. You sign up with me, and I'll meet with your kid just like this on Skype, and I will teach them how to talk. You can do this all over Skype. So this is one example of how technology and science can produce new creative solutions that solve a resource limiting problem, okay? Another one. Here's another problem that I have a creative solution for. This is actually in my personal experience. So I think one of the problems with our society today is that nobody ever reads anymore. Okay, nobody ever reads. It used to be like 100, 200 years ago, there's no TV. There wasn't even radio like 150 years ago. And what people did is they literally they read books for entertainment, and they were sharp back then. Okay? Nobody reads anymore. And it was even true for me. Like I did not like reading early on in life. And then I learned a trick. What I learned is that I actually love to listen to other people reading me books. Okay? So when I started exponentially reading was when I downloaded the Audible app on my phone. And then now every day I'm always just listening to audiobooks. That's what solved the reading problem. Well, that's what solved the reading problem for me, okay? And the problem is, again, problem with our society, nobody reads anymore. So what's the creative solution? Well, I found out when I first started listening to audiobooks, I found out that all the books before like 1915 are free for everybody. They're free. And so people read them online, and you can download these free apps so you can listen to them. And the reason that they're free is because there were no copyrights before some date like 1915, okay? So we can solve. Now, here's the problem, though. Nobody would like, except me. I mean, I like listening to books before 1915, but most people now would not enjoy listening to really, really, really old books, okay? They should, but they don't. But here's how you solve that problem, okay? Somebody in the Senate, somebody in Congress can pass a law that says we are going to eliminate copyrights before, say, 1965 or 1975. Then all of a sudden, all those books that were copyrighted before 1975, okay, all those books that you read as a kid, all those books that your parents read as a kid are now free online. And people can read those in their apps and make audio versions of those books. And then that is going to increase, I hope, that would be a creative solution to increase the problem of people don't read anymore. Well, if you don't read anymore, maybe you just listen to some audiobooks, okay? That's one solution. Some books just need to be read in original language. That can be a problem. You mean like translations? Yeah, that's true. But I mean, what I'm talking about is specifically like English American books cannot be released, cannot be free to the public because they have copyrights, okay? And we can get rid of that beyond some, I mean, we don't want to get rid of all copyrights because then that disincentivizes authors from writing new books. We don't want to do that. But we want to get rid of copyrights before some date where like 1975, none of those authors are probably even alive anymore. Okay, that's one creative solution. So here's let me just give the final pitch for this video is that so I'm running for the US Senate in Alabama GOP primary. And everybody in Alabama, all the GOP candidates are conservative. Everybody is conservative. And so everybody's going to start doing a really, really, really stupid argument of I'm more conservative than him. I'm more conservative than him. I like guns more than you. I like guns more than you. I'm pro-life. I'm more pro-life than you. Like everybody's going to start doing that, okay? And I'm going to say I'm just as conservative as anybody in Alabama, okay? I have publications in Rush Limbaugh's The Limbaugh Letter, okay? I'm just as conservative as anybody here, but I am way more creative than everybody here. This is an example of that. And my philosophy is there's always a creative solution. So you get more with me. I am ultra-conservative. Yeah, I'm telling you that. I'm ultra-conservative. I am. I'm just as I'm going to do that fight. I'm just as ultra-conservative as anybody in Alabama. But I'm way more creative than anybody else. Okay, so that's why you vote for me. There's always a creative solution. Okay, I'm going to end it there unless you guys have more questions. If you want to talk about aliens, whatever. So if you like, you can follow, you can share the video. Sharing is so helpful. And if you really want to like win this election with me as a team, you have to share. That's the only way for me to grow my audience and to beat the other people. You gotta you can go to eaglewolfpack.com. You don't have to donate because I'm trying to win without money. I'm trying to win. So I'm saying you don't even have to donate. You don't have to donate at eaglewolfpack.com. In fact, don't donate to my campaign. I'm going to win anyway, just on my pure brain, my creativity, and my intelligence using Periscope, Twitter, online. But I will ask you to share my videos. Wait, what are your previous comments? What about my previous comments? I didn't see them. What are they? The Divine Comedy, much different in Italian. Some books need to be translated. Yeah, I mean, but that's not, okay. Well, they just need better translations then. For instance, my experience, like, I read Beowulf, which is old English. You can't even, it's a completely different language. I read Beowulf in high school, and I did not take it in. I did not enjoy it. And then I read a new translation. I just recently read a new translation by Seamus Hamey. He did a way better job translating the Old English, and I just loved it. It's like drinking beer. It's like, here's my war buddies. Let's go out. Let's fight some creatures. Like that's what Beowulf is about. And I didn't get that because the original time. This guy's talking funny. of funny books. I have the Malleus Maleficarum. That's the witch's hammer. So there's a funny. This is going to get me in trouble. There's a funny book. So during the Middle Ages, there's a Catholic priest who wrote a book on how to basically prosecute and punish witches. And he called this book The Witch's Hammer, which is the Malleus Maleficarum, which is he's telling me he likes this book. He wants me to read it. I have it. I haven't read it yet. You're going to get me in trouble because this is just funny. I can't talk about that. It is fascinating. It is sociologically, it's very, very fascinating. It is. It's definitely, there's a really, if you like the sociology stuff of the witch trials and reading about that, there's a guy named Montague Summers. He was also a Catholic priest, and he wrote books on like werewolves, vampires, and witches. But he actually kind of he kind of looks at the sociology of it and looks at what are all the instances, where'd these ideas come from? And he kind of traces it historically back. So if you like that kind of stuff, read Montague Summers. He's got some really, really good books. I really like his witches book. I think it's called something like The History of Witchcraft. Why you shy away from stuff? Because I live in Alabama and I'm not going to start talking about, I'm running for office. I'm not going to start talking about like witches. It's just bad politics. But I mean, I'll talk about it for humor. I mean, people who come to my periscopes have a sense of humor, so it's fine. I'll talk about it in a sense of humor. But it's not like this is not gonna affect my policy as a politician. I'm a scientist. That's what's gonna affect my policy is science. And science, just to be sure, science is all about trial and error. Science is about figuring out what works, and then you do that. And so I'm gonna make government efficient. Any other questions? This has been a good periscope. Okay, let's go on easy subject. Yeah, of course Black Lives Matter. Enough said. We Alabama is a leader in civil rights movements. Okay, Alabama was where some of the original civil rights people were like marching. Okay, and we actually have. Yeah, of course, all lives matter. That is true. But Black Lives Matter too. And actually, Alabama is like famous for we have like Tuskegee University, which is a historically black university, which is an agricultural research university. And it's actually, it's fantastic. So like, I'm all in support. I want African Americans to support me. And I want to do everything I can to get their votes. And I want to do everything I can to help them. And help Tuskegee University because I'm an agricultural biotechnologist. So like, they're my people. I want them doing agricultural research at Tuskegee. I want to fund that. Any other questions? This guy's giving me a grilling. This is good. It sharpens me. Tommy Tuberville is not going online and subjecting himself to these questions because he's not smart enough. Concussed Tommy hit his head too many times. He's a football coach. Stiff John Merrill, is not going online and subjecting himself to questioning from his constituents. Nope. I am. I'm not afraid of my constituents. All right. That's it. Have a good day. We can do final sip. Cheers. Have a good day. Saturday. Best day ever. Oh. Vote for me, March 3rd. Vote for me.